Welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. We're going to get into the Indiana Fever taking on the Las Vegas Aces on Tuesday night, a game that was an absolute behind whooping for the Fever. Aces 90, Indiana 68. We'll look at the box score. We'll talk about the game, my observations, and more specifically, paint a picture of where both these teams are right now. But first, I'm going to talk a little bit about the officiating, and then I'm going to move on. After game one in Las Vegas, the game Indiana won by 16 points. Someone during the live stream in the chat asked me what I thought of the officiating, if I thought it was decent. And I said, it wasn't perfect. There were mistakes along the way. I said, but we are not spending our entire time talking about the officiating, which is a good sign. We didn't spend the whole game talking about the officials. And after the game was over, we didn't, it's like officials, we did it. And so I said, I have to say that in light of that, it was decent. Because you're supposed to be talking about the game. You're supposed to be talking about the players. If the officials are inserting themselves by jacking stuff up, and that's the conversation, something is terribly wrong. And in game one, there was some of that, but it was minimal. Game two, last night, completely different story. The officiating was all over the game. It was the course of conversation during the game. It was the conversation after the game. It was the conversation in the post-game press conference. It was egregious. Now, that's not the only reason Indiana lost the game. But like I said, I'm going to start with that. I tell you all over and over again that you can't just look at a box score and determine how a particular player played. You can't tell everything by the box score. And it's not just about a particular player. It's about a whole team. It's about, let's say, even the foul situation. If you were to look at the box score and you didn't watch the game, you would say, well, the officials were certainly fair. I mean, Indiana shot free throws. Indiana took 15 free throws in the game, and the Aces took 21. Sure, the Aces took more, but that's pretty close. But that's where you get confused, and that's where you get thrown off, because it was toward the end of the game where all of a sudden the officials started blowing their whistles and putting Indiana on the line. That wasn't happening throughout the game. In fact, someone in the chat toward the end of the game said, "Oh, right now they want to blow the whistle now to make it look like that both teams were shooting free throws when they were not." In fact, during the game, at one point in the game, toward the end of the game, even, I looked at the free throws. And I said to the chat, I said, Indiana has shot 8 free throws in this game. The Aces, 20. Yeah. And I repeated myself. You heard me right. 8 from Indiana, 20 from the Aces. It ends up after the officials decided to, kind of close the gap there, I guess, ended up with Indiana with 15 free throws and the Aces at 21. But it was 8-20 at one point. Now, even in game one, like I said, it wasn't perfect. Lexi Hall on the floor. She was questionable to even play in game two. Asia knocking over people, being, rough housing people, bully ball people. So there was some of that in game one. But again, it didn't take all of our attention. But game two, it was ridiculously physical, ridiculously. And let's just go to Scott Agnes's X account. He has this little compilation of people talking about the officiating, and it starts with Becky Hammond, coach of the Aces.
The physicality is out of control, that's for sure. I mean, you can bump and grab a wide receiver in the NFL for those first 5 yards, but you can do it in the W for the whole half court. You put two hands on somebody like that, it should be an automatic foul. They have the freedom of movement. There's no freedom. And I'm not saying that we're not fouling too. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's out of control. Most of my assistants come from the NBA, and they're like, this would not fly in the NBA. This level of physicality would not fly in the NBA. There'd be fights. We just have very well-mannered women that can get to the next play, but there would be fights.
I mean, the reality is they came in and they were physical and they dictated, and we were on our heels and we were passive and we were reactive to everything. We 28 points off of turnovers, 14 points off of offensive rebounds. I mean, they're too good. We can't spot them 42. We've got to be able to handle that. I mean, they've been world champions for a reason. They have a mentality that they know exactly how to compete at this stage and at this level. And we've got to be able to respond, and we've got to be able to rise to that challenge.
Feels like a physical game every game. Feels like it's been a physical season. But yes, I think, I feel like I've been on the ground a little bit more this series so far. We just keep getting back up, so that's all I can really say.
Hard for us to find flow when there's a foul call every 10 seconds. I mean, it just really is. And when they're at the free throw line, we can't get up and down the floor. And that's a challenge. They were much more aggressive and physical defensively.
So a few things here. Number one, Becky Hammon, very interesting. She is calling out the physicality. It's her team. It is her team. We had players, Odyssey, Kelsey, smacked in the face, smacked in the eye. Officials didn't seem to find a reason to look at that like they did in the previous game. But Becky Hammon, look at Becky Hammon. She knows that she's about to go over to Indiana. So she want to talk about, this would never fly in the NBA. It's so physical. I'm not saying we don't foul, but them. Yeah. It's your players, Becky. But Becky's trying to drop that little seed so that when they have to play 2 games in Indiana, now the officials, it's a game that coaches play. So now, I mean, we saw it last season in the finals between Minnesota and New York Liberty. The whole thing about the officiating and you get in the officials' ear and all that. So Becky Hammon, it's your players. If you don't like the physicality, tell your players to stop running over, bulldozing over people. Lexi Hall on the ground. Anyway, it was physical and correct. There was a time where it was like no flow at all. When I say correct, I mean what Stephanie White said, where there was no flow because the whistle kept blowing because fouls were being called on Indiana. And so how do you get a rhythm? And every time you turn around, it's like, it was just like constant. It reminds me of this joke I heard years ago. And if you're super sensitive about stuff and extra politically correct and all that, then don't listen to it. Just fast forward a little bit. But I'm making a point here. No disrespect intended. But there's this joke I heard years ago, and it goes like this. What is this? A blonde at a blinking red light. So anyway, whether you find it funny or not, you get the point, right? That's the blonde at a blinking red light. And again, no disrespect to blondes. I like that hat that Sophie was wearing game 1, the blonde party and all that. So no disrespect. But anyway, that's sort of like what it is when the whistle's being blown constantly. You can't get a rhythm. It's like you try to get going and it's like, stop, take a free throw, stop. You can't get going, right? Whether you're blonde or not, it applies. So that is what it is. Extra physical. Players are hurt. Officials were horrible. And that's not the only reason why Indiana lost. I got to say it that way. So now we can move on because we can't do anything about that. If the league won't do anything about it, there's nothing we can do about it. It is what it is. So what happened in this game? First of all, the series so far, 2 games, Indiana has overperformed. Yeah, Indiana has overperformed, and I'll explain. The Aces underperformed. So let's get to the difference between the first game and the second game. What I said in my video after the first game was this. They focused in on AB. She drew so much attention. We were able to knock down open shots as a result. Odyssey Sims in the first game has 17 points, and I did my whole video and I showed footage and I broke it down. She would not have had those shots had AB not been on the floor. And then, of course, Kelsey Mitchell was dominant in the first game with 34 points. In this game, Kelsey Mitchell only had 13 points because they adjusted. They played her tight. We knew that they would. You can't just have one person scoring. Kelsey didn't have a big night. You can't win with Kelsey scoring 13 points, particularly if other people aren't going to step up. So the Aces, they got extra physical with Kelsey, banging her, grabbing her, all the things that Kelsey goes through and gets no respect. So somebody else had to step up. It's not like we weren't getting shots. Now, we weren't getting as many points in transition because we weren't getting stops on the defensive end. That's a part of it as well. We were, and sure, you can take it out the rim and push the ball up the floor, but it's just different. And so we had some trouble with that. We had trouble with turnovers. They scored off of turnovers. It wasn't even a rebounding problem. We're going to look at the box score and see that it wasn't even about rebounding, but you have to take care of the basketball. And everything really starts with the point guard in that game. And Odyssey Sims, you look at the box score, you'll think otherwise, but she, I thought, hurt us. Her decision-making at times is really, really costly. But also, you're going to see from the box score, we got plenty of three-point shots. We just weren't knocking them down. That's a problem. Lexi Hull did not shoot a great percentage, but she had 5 threes with the bad back and just sore and beat up. But other than that, like we got to have players who step up. We've got to have people knock down shots. We have to take care of the basketball. We've got to be more aggressive. Now, I didn't feel like the team was passive. I know someone or a couple people in the chat said that Indiana was just really passive. And the coach said it. Maybe you agree. I didn't feel like they weren't ready to play, that they weren't pumped to play. But they are definitely going to have to be more aggressive. It gets tricky, though, because the official's blowing the whistle. So that's the thing, and something, if you watch the whole press conference after the game, that's something that I believe Aaliyah Boston pointed to. So you have to be more aggressive, but then when you get more aggressive, the whistle blows. So it becomes difficult. Now, Indiana looks sloppy at times, but I also have to credit the Aces. Their defense was really tight. And here's the thing that we have to understand. I hope we all knew that the Aces, it wasn't like they were going to just lay down and die and say we lost game 1 at home. So this team is the number 2 team. This team had 17-game winning streak until the first round of the playoffs. This team has Olympians and MVPs and has won championships. So nobody thought, at least you should not have thought, that it was going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Right. But I still say that Indiana overperformed and the Aces underperformed. And I'll say this, as I said in my video prior to this series, what Indiana wanted to do, obviously, is win every game. But Indiana stealing game 1 is huge. Indiana has home court advantage now. The Aces, that team's back is against the wall. That team is about to go into Cambridge for 2 games. All Indiana needs, 2 games. That's it. So by overperforming, I mean this. You came in and you stole a game, which means you wrested home court advantage away from the number 2 seed. You are a 6th seed, and you went into their court, put yourself in a good position going back home by winning 1 game. You split the series. Ideally, you win every game. That generally doesn't happen, right? So what you do is you get 1 on the road, and now you have home court advantage, and your job now is to take care of home court. Of course, the Aces will come ready to fight and ready to, when I say fight, I mean play hard, because their backs are against the wall. The Aces underperformed in the series because as the number 2 seed playing the number 6 seed, you've got home court advantage, and the other team has like a whole basketball team of people out from injury. You lose to Indiana. Your backs are against the wall. You have underperformed as the number 2 seed, playing a team that's hobbled, and you're at home. Indiana overperformed by going into your house and taking away home court advantage, which you worked hard for to get to that spot. So we're in good position. We did all that was expected. Actually, we did more than was expected, because you would expect the Aces to hold home court, right? So we've already outperformed the Aces by taking it from them. So where we are right now is simply make those adjustments. Other people are going to have to step up. We need Aaliyah Boston to attack the basket. We need to take care of the ball. Too many turnovers in the game. And we've got to knock down shots. We really have to knock down shots. The shots were there. Even with the Aces' tough physicality defense, we still had opportunities to score and couldn't do it. And then when you don't knock down shots, they'll let you go. Like we can just be all over Kelsey. We can be all over AB, because who else is going to knock down shots? I mean, Lexi knocked down some shots, but it wasn't enough. So let's go to the box score, take a look at what happened, and then tie this thing together as we are going, or they're already back home at Gamebridge, and the ball is in Indiana's court, because Indiana overperformed in the series, even with not a good performance last night. ESPN.com. So here we see it, 68 Indiana, 90 Aces. And in game 1, Indiana won every quarter. In game 2, Indiana lost every quarter. Indiana 17 first quarter, Vegas 26. Second quarter, Indiana 18. It's closer, Vegas 20. Third quarter, Indiana 17, Aces 24. Fourth quarter, Indiana 16, Vegas 20. So yeah, we lost. Indiana lost every quarter. Now, going down here, let's just go straight down. Tosh, 6 points with only 6 shots going up. That's not going to work. So she had 6 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Aaliyah Boston, 10 points. That's not going to be enough. 5 or 9 shooting, but they got her out of it. They got her out of it. I mean, that 10 points, that's 4 more points than she had in the first game. 10 points, 13 rebounds. We needed those, 3 assists. Going over to Odyssey, 18 points. Don't be fooled, though, okay? Don't be fooled, because most of that came in garbage time at the end of the game. She was 7 of 12. She has 7 assists, 1 steal, 6 turnovers. Her decision-making hurt us. Her play hurt us. And like I said, 18 points. She's the leading scorer in this game. But if you watch that game, you'd be shocked. 13 points from Kelsey Mitchell on 4 of 14 shooting, 1 of 6 from 3. 5 assists, 2 steals. Then we go to Lexi Hall, who had 15 points. Yep, 15 points on 5 made 3-pointers, but it's 5 for 11 from 3, which that isn't bad from 3, but 5 of 16 overall. That's not going to get the job done, right? And so we also got 3 rebounds, 2 assists. And again, she was playing hurt. She mustered up enough strength to play. And then our bench, we got 6 total points from the bench. Bree Turner, 1, and also 3 rebounds. And 4 from Shea Petty, along with 2 rebounds and a block. And then 1 from Ariel Powers. Yeah, that's what we got. Now, if you look down here at the Aces, Nalissa Smith went off on her old team. 18 points on 7 for 9 from the field. She had 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. 4 points from Kirsten Bell with 1 assist, 1 rebound, 2 steals. 25 from Asia Wilson on 10 of 18 shooting, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 steals, 2 blocks, and a special whistle. 6 points from Chelsea Gray with 10 assists, 3 steals. 13 points from Jackie Young with 5 assists and 5 rebounds. And then they actually got points from their bench, quite a bit. 2 from Cheyenne Parker-Tyus with 1 rebound, 2 from Megan Gustafson with 2. That's it. Yeah, 10 from Jewel Lloyd, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. 10 from Dana Evans with 1 rebound, 3 assists, and a steal. And they shot 53.8% from the field to Indiana's 41% from the field. But look at our three. When I tell you we had opportunities, look at our three. We are 7 for 20. So we got shots. 7 for 20 from three. For those who say, yeah, they don't need Caitlin. Oh, they don't need Sophie. I paused for effect. 7 for 20. And Aces 5 for 12. But again, you look at the free throw, 21 free throws from the Aces, 15 from Indiana, but don't be fooled. At one point, it was 8 for 20. There's definitely a special whistle. And like I said, there's nothing you can do about it except go out there and play your game. But it's worth noting, so I'm noting it. I repeat, though, so far in this series, Indiana has outperformed. Guarantee you the goal in going to Las Vegas was to steal one. If you can steal one, you have the upper hand, and then you get to go back home to your home court. Vegas, backs are against the wall. So Indiana can expect that there's not going to be a letdown. Understand, Vegas has not won at all this season over there at Gamebridge. So one game at a time, obviously. Indiana has put itself in such a position that Indiana doesn't have to win both games there at Gamebridge. Indiana could win one because Indiana put itself in that position, could win one, and then go back for game 5 after, if they lose the first one or lose the second one, they still have game 5 at Vegas. Indiana doesn't want to do that. You do not want to go back to Las Vegas. You do not want to have to go back to Las Vegas. You do not want to play a game 5 in Las Vegas. But if you have to, you've put yourself in a position where that could be the case. And we already know from game 1 that this team can win at Las Vegas. However, the goal, since you put yourself in the place to have the upper hand, obviously one game at a time, but the big picture is you have home court advantage now. Go home, take care of your home court. The crowd will be behind you. Get your 2 games and get on over to the finals. There's a long way to that point, but Indiana did what it's supposed to do. Take one on the road. That's what you can ask against a number 2 team. Hey, we're in good shape, but we're going to have to do better than we did last game. All right, I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.